Hello and happy Thursday, coming at you live here at Insight Production Studios. My name is Robert Morales, our CEO Network, with my co-hosts.
Kelsey, Rogness. Rogness.
Oh my God, Miss Rogness, this has been a crazy day today.
It has. It's been really crazy for everyone I've talked to like all day today.
Yeah, and we decided to do this live today. We didn't have a guest. At least our guest canceled for the week. And we do this broadcast, we do this show thing just about every week, right, Mrs. Rogness?
Every week, yes.
Every week on our CEO Network page. So we decided this week that we're going to do a little different, do things just a little bit out of the normal that we do, right?
Right.
What did we decide to do?
We decided that we were going to discuss a podcast and how you start it, the ins and outs of it.
Yeah, the basics of all this, the basics of this crazy stuff that we do every week. And I think at the end of it, I guess I can ask you, right? Why do people want to do podcasts? I've been approached I think by 3 different people this week alone, asking, about what we do and how we do things. And I'm like, I don't think we're anything special, but we're trying to voice ourselves and get out there as a company, as a group, as business partners, and tell people and show people what we do. Why do you think, people do this podcast thing?
I mean, I think it's fun. It's kind of fun to put yourself out there and discuss things. And I feel like everybody really wants to, I don't know, I guess be heard and hear other people and interact with other people, especially during COVID right now. It's become, I feel like, more of a popular thing. You start talking to people and you're like, wow, people might want to hear what we have to say or what I have to say. And so
you think we're getting a little oversaturated? Because I think everybody kind of goes to where everybody's going, when you see somebody being successful on a broadcast, TV show, podcast, I think everybody just kind of gravitates towards it and says, hey, I want to do something, and and there's just a number of people that try to do this, and they're not successful at it. Why do you think that is, Miss Rogness?
I mean, I think everyone wants to be relevant and talk about something they like or love, or even something they find interesting. And there's just so much of the same that, there has to be something different. I watch actually a lot of, a lot of different types of videos on Facebook. You get sucked into the Facebook hole of videos, or YouTube, and you go down the rabbit hole and you find some interesting things. And then you find some things that you're like, hey, the first 5 minutes aren't engaging. The first minute isn't engaging. So, you see all that and you get brought into the first 30 seconds, like, okay, this isn't for me. And I feel like there's so much content out there that there's not necessarily that grab your attention, and the grab your attention posts and videos are just, those are the ones gaining the popularity.
Yeah, and I think the best series, and I think this is very evident on YouTube, the best series are the more educational ones. A lot of video production and a lot of the audio stuff that I do, I've learned straight from YouTube. It hasn't been classes. It hasn't been going to formal education. And I'm sure there's people out there like that do go to school, that do pay, hundreds, if not thousands of dollars to learn like video production. And I think I learned it over the last probably about 3 years off of YouTube videos. And it's crazy.
Right.
And I think that's what people are gravitate towards podcasts, because they do offer some information they can't normally get somewhere else. And I think the particular thing about podcasts is that you're listening to somebody that you trust or care about. Do you think that's like the key to all this whole thing?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it is caring and knowing what the subject matter is. So, I mean, if you like somebody, whether it's someone you know or someone you don't know, there's a girl, for example, she does makeup, and she tells, kind of like murder mystery type stories.
Yeah.
And depending on what you're into, you're engaged with it. You like her personality, and I don't, I like watching makeup videos, but to be honest, her makeup part of it isn't what, like, I like her personality on it more so than watching someone do their makeup. So I know it's a little bit different, but also kind of the same. It draws you into a certain thing. It, is something engaging and entertaining. And it changes person to person.
Yeah, and I think you brought an interesting point. Now, that's probably the first point that I want to bring up to our audience in creating a podcast is you somewhat have to create a character, a business identity in itself. You know, inadvertently, when it comes to being out there and putting yourself out there and being knowledgeable, being a resource, you have to legitimize yourself in some way. For some people, that's being a doctor. You have to, wear the white lab coat. You have to have the credentials. For other people, it's experience. And people don't follow people that don't have experience or at least perceivable experience. And I think you'll see that when people start their show um, or just talking about themselves. If you meet them in life, they're like, "Hey, my name is Robert Morales. I have 7 years experience in real estate. I have my PhD and I don't have a PhD. I have I have my bachelor's degree in sociology, and I have 10 years experience in removing children." And so you kind of give up those credentials because you're trying to legitimize who you are. And I think in a very similar fashion, the first thing you need to do is legitimize what the information is you're trying to share. So, like in the video work I do, I think I have to legitimize the fact that I've been doing it for the last 3 years. I have to have a portfolio. So, part of what we've been doing in our podcast for the last 9 months is creating a portfolio of videos. So I haven't even checked. I think we have about 20 or 30 different video interviews from business owners to gain a portfolio, to legitimize who we are as a broadcast so that we can share and people see us as a resource when we do that. We have, 9 months now in podcasting, but we have 4 years experience in interpersonal relations and event planning. So a lot of those credentials will make the character what your business or your podcast is. Is that is
Right.
that
I mean,
um
you have to be somewhat likable, and you have to have some sort of reason why people are going to watch you. So whether it's your experience or who you are as a person, there's a reason that someone's going to log in and say, "Oh my gosh, I wonder if Robert's put out something new today," or "I'm really interested in his, real estate work. What's his new listings? I like seeing happy homeowners," whatever the case may be. There's something that always draws your audience in. You have to find what that is.
So I think the next step, since you brought it up, is creating the character. So step one is to look at how to legitimize yourself. Legitimizing yourself isn't going to happen overnight. Um, so many people that come up and say, "I want to do a podcast. This is the information I want to do," but that's one aspect of it. But legitimizing and doing it over time, you have to do a number of shows. You have to create and put together what your content is going to be. We've been working at this for 9 months and we're still talking about content. We're still talking about how do we deliver things and what it looks like, and are people watching, and if they're watching, what do they respond to? So step two is creating a character. So I discovered this. You brought it up with real estate, the whole Yoda thing. The whole Yoda story, right, Kelsey?
Oh, of course.
And so that was more accidental than it was really mindful or purposeful. It was like, I was sitting in my car, life circumstances were happening, and I had this Yoda thing, and that was very early on in my career. And I decided to take a picture of it because in real estate, you get all these dorky ass real estate agents that take pictures in front of houses, and that's their advertising and that's their marketing, and that's really not the case. It's really an emotional connection to things. And so instead of me taking pictures in front of houses, I took a picture of this Yoda thing, and at that time, I was only getting like 1 or 2 likes on my posts. And when I took this picture of a Yoda in front of a house, I got like 10 posts, and I like that. Ooh, I'm a winner.
I mean, I feel like we all have that moment where we post like the perfect thing and we're like, "Oh my gosh, people responded to this. We figured out the universe."
Yeah, and
I
it's
feel
just
like
it's just weird how that his whole thing is manifested. The Yoda thing for me, again, was accidental, and it has become kind of my identity. And so having that character is, I know and knowingly have to reinforce that character. So that character is the what people believe Yoda is. I have to emphasize that in all my marketing and what I do. But that's the real estate part. So what we're trying to do here with this podcast is create its own identity. And the podcasts that we have so far are all related to small businesses and entrepreneurs. Really, what our business is about is creating this platform. This platform is a live Zoom call or a live interview, and we get to highlight somebody, get to know them a little bit more than just a business, right? And the questions that you and I have, Kelsey, they really, I think, stem from the heart and wanting to know and just curious about somebody's life. And I think that's what people want to hear more so than just information.
Right. And we've talked about, it's great to know what someone does for their business, but that's not why you always pick them for their business. There's plenty of people that I got to know them or I was referred to them by somebody, and that's why I use them, not because like, oh, everybody who works on cars, I'm going to gravitate towards this person. And then I hear about the next person, I'm going to go there. There's a reason you stick with someone, and there's a reason you choose somebody, and there's a reason you leave your old normal for the new normal of that person. So it really is about finding connections and finding why people are interested in working with that other person. So
Yeah, I truly believe that to be the case. So again, I think it's creating a character that people want to emotionally connect with, that care about. I think that's the key to having people follow you and wanting to see what you're doing. It's not about posting business posts. It's not about, you know, uh, in your case, Kelsey's like interest rates. People care about interest rates, but I think at the end of the day, they care that you're going to take care of them when it comes to their home loan. They want to know that if they tell you something or share something with you, that you're going to take that information and use it in their own best interest. You're not going to take that information and use it against them.
right.
And
And sorry,
oh, go
go
ahead.
ahead. Well, I was going to say in the discussion of, that's one of the taboo subjects is interest rates. I can't talk about interest rates or interest rate related things without getting approval from somebody. So, how do I, and that's in more of like a broadcasting advertising sense. Person to person, I can talk to everybody about, their individual situation, but how do you, I don't really like to go to my marketing department and say, hey, I need to get approval for this
Yeah.
to talk about mortgages. I want to present myself as a person. And then when I talk to them in person, like, hey, oh, you do mortgage loans, like I want to gain business that way. It shouldn't matter. It does matter about what, you know, the business aspect and the financial aspect of it is, but if there's a small difference in rate or small difference in, I guess, other things, that's really the first thing everybody goes to. But I would rather people enjoy working with me and feel like I've empowered their knowledge, not necessarily I don't need to, I guess, empower people more so than knowledge of what they are going to find out, or that they can ask me a question. I had a girl tell me today, this is a stupid question, you're going to hang up on me. And I was like, if I had to hang up on people for every question that somebody else says, oh, this is a stupid question, it's not a stupid
Yeah.
question. My job is really to give you the knowledge. And if you don't have the knowledge, are you really making the best financial decisions? So mortgage loans aside, that's the same with anything, right? That's AC, real estate, other shows we've done, marketing. If you don't have the knowledge, how are you making the right decision based on a number
Yeah.
versus like you can have it all potentially, but also where do you feel the most comfortable?
Yeah. And I think the thing to bring it in, because we want to stick to an hour. We're still doing a show, by the way. We're not just talking randomly a lot. Um, I think the premise in starting a podcast, before we get to the next topic, which is the platforms, um, is to find what people care about. And it's not looking for it out there. It's really looking internally inside yourself. And it's really geared towards the things you care about as a person. Because if you care about it, you're going to understand it better. You're going to qualify it better. You're going to do more research because you care about it. It's something of your interest. And I will tell you on a very spiritual level, the brighter that light is, the more people will follow it. So in starting a podcast, you really have to be determined and care about something or someone. I mean, it could be a person too, but that caring, that focusing on what you care about can translate into a podcast and be able to share that because, people do have interest. It's not going to be everybody. It's not going to be thousands of people. It's not going to be millions of people. But the right people that you want to end up, I think at the end of it is do more business with, because that's what podcasts are about. You're not doing this for free, I don't think, right, Kelsey? I
I
mean,
mean,
truth be told.
I mean, the whole thing is getting to know the people that you're working with.
Yeah.
And I think that's why the show, um, I mean, even if it's just starting out and people don't know about it or necessarily follow it, I mean, the goal is to play on interests, but also along those interests, if you don't get to know the people that we're talking to, what's the point? I mean, they can go ahead and put a billboard up and you see the billboard. And does
Right.
that make you have a personal interest? Probably not.
Yeah. So with that said, we're going on to platforms. So the next thing I think when developing a podcast is really to determine what your platform is going to be. There's many platforms you can choose from. Facebook is one of them that we've chosen just because I think it's one of the bigger social media platforms. But you also have, Instagram. You also have your like websites. I don't know who does that on websites. LinkedIn, YouTube. The lady I spoke to yesterday, one of the business owners here, we're Cutie. They're doing a Voice America. So Voice America is a business Tempe-ish area. I've done podcasts from there too, but they offer a venue, a platform where you can come in, you do a radio show, you reserve time in a studio, just like how we have here, and you do your podcast. You invite your own guests. They do all the platform for you, and they even market it for you. And she told me yesterday they market out to several different countries, so she'll get leads and stuff from um, internationally and nationally. So there's different platforms you can do that from. I think I like the free ones because we can come on Facebook and you know do this all the time for free and it doesn't
Right.
cost us
I mean,
anything.
but the downside of that too is that you are marketing to just your audience. You have
Yeah,
to actually go through certain steps to get that audience to even know that you're live. So some of those platforms have restrictions that
yeah,
maybe aren't, you don't realize it until you start doing it and you're like, wow, I really am, wanting to get this following or these people to see what I'm posting, and they have to go through these steps, and everyone likes quick and easy. And it's not quick and easy to always find your favorite stuff. I follow tons of people on Facebook or whatever, and I never see what's posted. Business
yeah.
wise, I never see what's posted. And I'll come across it and be like, wow, this is from 2 weeks ago. Someone I knew commented on it, and now I have found it and it's great and I like it. Why did it not pop up?
Yeah, so we chose today because we normally do this broadcast from our business page, but we chose to think outside the box. It was Kelsey's idea. Thank you, Kelsey. To do our broadcast from our personal pages. So we used to play guitar, right?
Right.
Remember
No,
back
I
in the
mean, that
day?
was like
That was
the beginning
pre-COVID.
stages. Pre-COVID. We would play guitar and
Pre-COVID.
sing.
Yeah, I do miss those days. I miss the guitar and us singing off key. And well, that was probably more me than you, but
I don't know. We definitely played some songs that were like, oh, we've never played this or practiced this. Let's put it on there. And it's funny because I feel like it gets so much more engagement because it's something fun and it's on your personal page. And so that was kind of what stemmed the idea of, well, the people who remember us doing that, we're going to go live on personal page. Maybe they're going to say, hey, what are these guys up to now?
Yeah. So the platform again has significance because if you choose Facebook, it's vastly different than Instagram, completely different than LinkedIn. It's a different clientele, different people are on there, different than YouTube. I mean, you have to understand and know your platform too. That is the biggest thing. We've chosen Facebook for a reason. Chosen Facebook because it's easier to market the business, to do paid advertising, and to do free advertising. There are ways to market yourself for free on these platforms, and you don't have to spend money. And we discovered some of those, and we can assist those, for you because Gabby's out there, right, Miss Chaides? Oh, she gave us some clappy hands. But choose your platform and invest in it, learn it, because the one thing about Facebook is if you have a business page and you don't pay for sponsored advertising, you're not getting anywhere. That's just flat out the truth. You have to spend money to be seen on your business page on Facebook. That's just the way they designed it. If you look on your news feed today, you'll see many businesses, and you'll see right next to the business name, sponsored advertising. You don't see your favorites. They're not the first ones that come up. Um, I have mine set to default on my Facebook, and I can show you guys in a second here. We're doing a contest, by the way.
We are doing a contest.
We're giving away money, $100.
I know, it's not even like a thing, it's money.
It's like real money, like Venmo. I don't touch cash anymore, so we're going to Venmo you some money. But you have to do certain things. But so I was showing Kelsey this the other day. I'm going to go to Kelsey's thing. Hold on.
Oh, we're going to my thing.
Well, I can't do it on my thing. So this is your
hey, it's me.
This is your business page. And if you notice on here, if you go down, it says Kelsey Rogness, Suburban Works, all that good stuff. Down by the message box, you see these three little dots, right, Kelsey?
Yes, I do.
So if you click on those dots, if you're on your phone right now, well, you're watching us live, but do this later, or do it when you can. So if you're on Facebook, this is something you want to do if you have a business page, and if you're out there promoting your business page, because it is free to have one. If you're out there promoting your business page, this is something you absolutely have to do. So go to the three dots on your business page, or have the person that you're trying to solicit to sign on your business page, have them go to three dots, because there'll be something interesting. Let me pull it up. Where'd I go, Kelsey?
I have no idea. I thought you were like actually on it and going to click it.
Oh, I can't do that here. But if you go to those three dots, if you hit those three dots, it'll take you to this page. See if I can pull it up. It says manage. If you go down to where it says favorites, this bottom white screen will pop up, and it goes into this default screen. And you have to change that default to your favorites. That's the only way that you're going to be on anybody's news feed, on the top of the news feed for free. So you have to go out there and encourage people, not just like your page. I mean, I get so many page like requests. I just like them all. I'm never going to see them.
Right. That's what I'm saying is I don't even know how many pages I like, because, everyone and their mom is like, hey, like my page. And I want to support my friends and their businesses, but I didn't even know until the other day you showed me that this you have to follow. I'm like, oh, well, no wonder I only see all these like if I talk about something, I looked it up on my work computer, something I was kind of interested in. Yep. It popped up on my phone because Facebook was linked, but I still can't see CEO Network until recently, where I actually did the default from, now it says favorite.
Yeah. So in order to have any significance on anybody's news feed, Whenever you do a post or whenever you do any advertising on there for free, you'll never see it. Your people will never see it. I think on my other business page, I have um, something like 900 or 1,000 likes or something, and I don't have any posts. Nobody likes the post, just simply because Facebook structures it so that their paid advertisers are seen first and not you. So when you're doing a podcast on Facebook, you have to be intentional about it, and you have to promote and pay for advertising. That's just simple if you want to get the word out. And let me go back to your. So that's the way to do it from your phone. If you end up doing it from a desktop, which I don't know who does that anymore.
I mean, on my work computer, I have my desktop stuff up sometimes. I mean, it's easier. It's more user friendly, ironically, because you have the whole screen to do whatever you want. But it's just so crazy the steps you have to take to actually like 101, like how to get people to actually pay attention to your business is really what we should call this.
Yeah. Not just podcasting. So this is, I went to your, this is a desktop screen. So the three dots are a little deceiving here because you don't want to hit the three dots. You want to hit the little man with a check mark or whatever it is, friends. And then on here, you're going to go down to favorites and you're going to click the favorite. So it's starred. So anytime now that you make a post, Kelsey, I will see it from your business page first on my news feed. That's how you change the game regarding a free business page on there.
Right.
And people don't know that. And so you can get 1 million likes on your business page, but it won't matter because nobody will ever see them. So so you have to understand your platform. You really have to understand how your platform works. So I'm going to go to our CR Network business page and show you some other things since we're here. And this is strictly for Facebook. So Instagram is a little bit different. I haven't tapped into that because it's just a whole other thing to learn.
Maybe we should start a TikTok page.
Oh, you want to do TikTok?
Someday.
I'm not into dancing though. So
I don't know that you have to dance. There's a lot of like story times on TikTok. I got sucked in today. There's like big cats and like there was a cow TikTok today that I saw. And that's kind of like to go back to the first point, right? Like TikTok is so you have to engage or be engaging to have people watch your TikTok, like, and you'll get stuck in this circle of TikTok videos, right? And they're 30 seconds long or 60 seconds long, however long. And I haven't really delved into the world of it as much. I just get sucked into these videos of like, well, I want to hear what comes next. You're telling a story about someone, like that's so far a really good story. So I guess the key point is everybody is so sucked in within the first 30 to 60 seconds of things that if you don't capture the attention, and it has always been, some amount of time, but I feel like it's cut down recently to where if you don't get somebody's attention in that short amount of time, they're not sticking with you. They don't care to hear the rest of it. They don't have to because there's other platforms and other things that are more interesting happening.
Yeah, and we live a TikTok society, Snapchat society. Everything has to be in 30 seconds. Like we're even talking about reproducing the intro video that you saw at the start of this video. We're going to reproduce, and it's going to be a 30-second video versus a 1 minute. So that video is exactly 1 minute, and it's teed. We know when we're supposed to come in, or we know our intros, all because it's just timed out that way. But even that's too long. So there's just so many things you have to understand about human dynamics as well as your platform. So just to dig into the platform a little bit further, just so you guys have an understanding about our podcast and what we look at and what we do. These are all the videos that we've posted in our CO network. So if the part of the contest is to go like our page, but you have to like it in the way that we showed you how to like it. So change it to a favorite. To win the contest, you're going to have to go and do some things, but we'll explain that in a second. I wanted to show you this page because this is the bread and butter of a business. If you want a true podcast, the podcast in itself, the focus is on getting sponsors. People want not only to share their service, but they want to attain sponsors. That's why I think predominantly people turn a podcast into a business. The sellable pieces of a podcast come into on Facebook as far as views go, comments, shares, and likes. So I'm going a little bit into our videos. So one of our best videos, and we've gone back on it a few times, is our interview with can we find it? Jody Stokes. Where's Jody at? So your home loan redesign got 2.5 thousand views, Miss Rogness. People
Right.
love the Rogness.
Maybe it's the content.
And so our Get Ready to Get Fit video, that's the one with Jody Stokes. That's the one in the center of the screen. That got 3.1 or 3,100 views, but only 9 likes. So these are the sellable pieces that you can approach a business and ask for a sponsorship for. But until you have these platforms, until you have the experience and the portfolio to show these businesses, you have to have consistency as the other piece of that. So as you can see behind our scenes, getting ready to get fit, that video got 3,000 views. And then the very next week, we only got 161. The very next week after that, 2,500 due to Miss Rogness. I think it was you mostly, anything else. I mean, I think it's just your personality.
I don't know. Maybe, well, I mean, maybe I feel like discussing anything with home loans is very, it's like credit, right? If you put a video on credit, I guarantee it would be a big hit, because you know what? People don't know how to improve their credit, or people are kind of lost on the guidelines of credit. And you don't necessarily have to be someone who fixes credit or somebody who knows, every single piece of credit, but even taking that insight that one person might have on something as difficult that's not taught anywhere. I mean, that's huge. I talked to someone about it today. She's like, hey, I wish that I knew what I know now, because nobody ever taught me these things. And it's those items that are highly sought after as far as informational videos.
Yeah. So views in themselves. So understanding your platform, just to expand on it, we got to go to the next topic, but understanding your platform is key, because a view on Facebook is vastly different than a view on YouTube. A view on YouTube is approximately 30 seconds. That means you captured somebody's attention to stay on a video on YouTube for 30 seconds or more. That is considered a view on YouTube. A view on Facebook is considered after 3 seconds. And so that includes those views where you're kind of scrolling through and you kind of watch it for a couple seconds and you're a little interested, and then you're not, and then you just keep scrolling. Those include those views too. So views can be very deceiving in and of themselves. So understanding your platform, how it works. The videos that we post on Facebook tend to get more views than on YouTube. That tends to be more marketable than, because people have to stay longer on YouTube to watch.
Right.
Our views on YouTube are significantly different than our views on Facebook for that reason. And so that's some feedback for you as a content driver, as somebody starting a podcast, that somebody may be watching your stuff on Facebook for a vastly different reason than somebody's watching it on YouTube, and for a lot longer. And
Well, 3 seconds, I mean,
that's really nothing.
It's so minimal. So, I mean, Facebook really is driving the, oh, wow, I'm really getting my stuff seen on Facebook. But in reality, you don't know that it's 3 seconds. You don't know how long someone's seen it. 3 seconds is so minimal in comparison to the amount of video time. So, I mean, YouTube, or even comparing both of them and putting it on both platforms to see your engagement levels, I think is somewhat important to determine what's most successful, not necessarily even the platform, but determining how long somebody's actually viewing your content.
Yeah. And so these are just reflection pieces for you to take back as a content driver, as somebody creating content, that just because you're getting 1,000 views on Facebook may not be for the same reason you're getting views on YouTube. So your content could be driving that, or just simply that you got lucky and a lot of people are just happen to be scrolling through. So those are things to consider and something to take back on. So platforms are key. What is marketable are the number of views, shares, and likes on a page. So the more of those combinations that you get, the more that you're able to go to your sponsors. Because I think at the end of the day, everybody that does a podcast wants to share the information, but also wants to make a business out of it. I think that's why people do invest in going into podcasting, do invest in all this stuff that I have going on, because genuinely speaking, they want to share the information, but also too, they do want to support what they're doing. I mean, this stuff costs money.
Right. Even there's the one day I had my microphone, but I forgot to bring a light to light my face up. Like, you don't even realize those are the things that are so simple that you kind of need.
Yeah.
I mean, to get even just a decent light, I mean, you could spend 20 to $100, depending on what you need it to do. It's going to cost more. You need a webcam, which is relatively cheap nowadays. But my microphone, $300 for a microphone. I'm sure I could use a cheaper microphone or whatever. But I was like, well, this is going to last. This is going to be high quality, change the sound. I do different things. So it really just depends on your level of seriousness in it as well, because you're going to spend less or more, and your podcast may benefit or not benefit depending on what side of the spectrum it's on, right? So spend a $300 mic, we just do this and I never use it for anything else, probably wasn't worth it, right?
Correct.
Spend $20 on a webcam, the quality's decent, I'm not going to use it for high quality things.
So you brought up an interesting point, which gets us to the next segment of today's show, is production. So the production piece of that, again, how much money you invest legitimizes what you're trying to do. So luckily for us, you do audio, you've done karaoke, you have some of those audio equipment. I am unfortunate to, be doing video work and then supplement that with what we do here. And so, I mean, you're talking like, what you have set up in front of you right now is probably with the laptop. Well, even without the laptop, you have about $400 worth of just gear.
Well, with the laptop, we're at more than 400.
Yeah. But I'll just say everybody has a laptop now.
Yeah.
So, but buying that extra gear, relatively speaking, you have about $400 in front of you right now.
Right.
For me on our end, because we do the higher quality production, because we want to make sure that on this end, you can hear us clearly, you can hear us loudly in what we're doing. I mean, this microphone alone was $150. Just the stand by itself was like $70. I have an interface here that connects the microphone to the computer, which was another $199. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 lights in this room alone. So maybe I'm saying too much because Violet's watching. But this lighting system was about 300. This lighting system was about 100.
Well, but I mean,
that's
the thing though, is do you love doing it? Do you want to do more of it? Are you going to do more of it? And, at what point does the cost not make sense? So if you're looking to start a podcast and you're like, okay, I just need a little headset mic and maybe I was using a stand light that I think is for a desk. And I had the webcam I got for $20. So my setup was $40 or so. And, to be honest, I like having a separate microphone, not just using the computer mic. I like having a light that changes colors and effects and things because I mean, why not? You might use it for something. This actually can be a battery charger for a phone, unfortunately not a computer, which is why we started early. That was my bad.
How much battery life you got, Miss Rogness?
Oh, well, we're at 44%.
Oh, okay, cool. We're still in there.
We're still good. So I use my computer for different purposes, which is why I spent some money on it. And this laptop, which doesn't have a webcam built in, I use it for trivia as well, because my previous computer that was less money actually died. So I left my charger at one of the bars I host at, and I have to go run and grab it before I train someone tonight. So yeah, I mean, who knows if it's even going to be there? I might have to go buy a cord last minute at Best Buy. I don't even know.
So your design, your setup is strictly more for mobility. You can take your microphone, you can take your light with you. You're able to go and do your podcast. You can do
Right,
your interviews from anywhere. Where a
right,
structure like me, you're a little bit more tied down. Like I can't just take the interface with me. I can't just take the lights and pack it all up in the car. And I have before. It just takes a long time, and I need the assistant. I need people to help because there's so much stuff to do.
right.
So the production piece of that does legitimize who you are, and what you're trying to do as far as your podcast goes. I believe that legitimizes again what you're trying to do, especially if you're trying to solicit for sponsorships. You know, we have a number of sponsors that do promote on our show. I will show you one of our videos. One of our videos in and of themselves will take anywhere from about I've gone as quick as 10 hours, and I say quick, as quick as 10 hours up to about 15, depending on what you're trying to do. I'm going to play a snippet, probably without the sound, so that you can kind of see, and I can walk you guys through one what it looks like. You remember the Dan video, Kelsey?
The
Dan
what?
Kite. Dan Kite.
Yes.
So I'm going to go ahead and play that one. Where are we at?
Of course I remember. I remember all the videos so far.
Uh,
Hopefully, well, because you were, I don't know if I'm allowed to say, you were going to do some more.
yeah, I'm gonna eventually
Maybe
get
you're
there.
gonna do some more.
I'm eventually getting there. So, film production in
Because 10
itself,
hours, there's only so many 10 hours in a week.
uh,
It was a joke.
yeah, I do tend to do a lot of things at midnight. So, I'm going to go ahead and play this video just so you guys can kind of see. We can walk through this. But again, I believe video in and of itself. Um, is a good way to legitimize what you're trying to do as far as a company goes. Kelsey, can you hear the sound on that?
Nope.
Okay, good. That's for a reason. So what you're seeing is a video that I did with Dan Kite back here at Workuity. I want to say back in about December, January last year or this year. And this video in itself, you can kind of see the equipment in the back, but this is done off a single mirrorless camera. And so it's set up for 4K. However, when doing video production, you have to understand, again, your platform for YouTube only allows for 1080p. So when you're doing videos at 4K, it looks very impressive. However, when you actually upload it to a Facebook, I think Facebook has a limit to 720p currently. YouTube has a limit of 1080p. So you can spend a lot of more money in a camera like an EOS R. An EOS R with its lens will cost you about $4,000. That's just a camera in itself, and that's not including lighting. That's not including content. So you have to sit down and interview Dan,
Right.
or interview a subject like Dan. Set up the lighting. Audio is another thing. That's a whole other thing. So just doing that in itself, I think that day with Dan took approximately 3 hours to do. And so
Just the
then
video part of it.
just filming,
Right.
just straight up filming, setting up, taking down, packing up the car, getting everybody upset, and you're hungry by the time you're finished with it.
Well, I'm always hungry, so.
So something like that, I believe, legitimizes a company. Video is just the thing that all the social media is driven towards. There's no platform that doesn't do video. You can do audio, but it's not the same as video. It doesn't have the same impact.
Well, and I mean, the thing is, you almost don't even realize it. Now, you might say, like, oh, someone's videos look really good. It doesn't drive the content, right? It's just the video part of it. Oh, the video looks really good. Or like, oh, um, this is engaging for whatever reason, whether it's the video content or whether it's the actual like content of what they're speaking on.
Yeah.
And you don't know how much money someone's put into that. You don't know what equipment they're running. Maybe they're really, really good with a webcam and they can, I mean, I'm not saying they could ever film what you film on your videos, but maybe someone can be engaging with that $20. But when you look at all of the aspects combined, the content, the video quality, all of those things as a whole, you're going to see an increase in, okay, I'm not limited to something. Like I'm limited to certain things with my setup, and you're limited to certain things with your setup.
Yeah. Yeah, and in my case, we don't have a crew anymore. We don't have a whole lot of people that can assist with this. The film production solely is reliant upon me at this point, just because of COVID, we lost a number of staff, and we're not able to do the videos. Like we haven't produced a couple videos in a while, and that's just logistics. Things are busy on one end of business, and you have to take care of what pays the rent at the end of the
I mean,
day.
and that's a perfect point, because the balance, I mean, there's days where, I know I need to get something done, whether it's for work or for, this or for trivia. And, today ended up being one of those days. I just didn't get caught up on anything. I knew that this show was, we always do the show on Thursdays. I set aside time for that. I'm training someone tonight. I don't usually do that on Thursdays. And it's so crazy how the time and the day will get away from you. And at the end of the day, time is money.
Yeah.
And spending your money wisely, spending your time wisely is so important, because all of a sudden it's midnight and you're working on a video. Like I have something in the morning. I have to get up early, start the day over again, do all my normal A through Z things for life. And so, I mean, that's an important piece of it too, is how much time you really have to spend on this and to spend on other things, and where is your profitability.
Correct. And to extrapolate this podcast in itself, this weekly podcast can take anywhere from 8 to 10 hours in total. And that's interviewing guests, trying to develop the content, going back and forth, testing audio, testing video, and then actually having the show promotion and staff to kind of help out and promote it from internally. That all takes anywhere, a single person, about 8 to 10 hours to do. And you really have to be invested. Again, that's where that whole caring part comes from. You really have to be invested in caring about the subject matter you're interested in and you want to share. The video production of it, I would equate to somebody like going to the doctor's office. So you can have your brother you can have your brother look on WebMD and diagnose that you have cancer, or you go to a doctor. What separates the two of them? White lab coat. You have the doctor's office. You have a degree up on the wall. And in no way are you going to check, to verify that that guy has, his degree or where he's from. It's the fact that he's in an office, that he has a white lab coat and a pen in his hand and this thing on the wall that looks like a degree. You're not going to verify all that. All that perception qualifies him to give you that diagnosis, to say, hey, you have this issue. Same thing when it comes to these podcasts. You have to look at every aspect of what you're trying to deliver and think about those details that surround that. That's what legitimizes your business and your podcast. That's what these videos do. The production value and the quality and the time we take, the content that we put together, that all concedes to the fact that we're here and we're trying to deliver these messages to you. So legitimizing a podcast, that's what you need to do. And a lot of it's perception. A lot of it is like the way it looks, unfortunately, because that's how we're driven as a society. That's just who we are.
Right. Well, I mean, every time because I have to video from different places, which is why my setup is mobile. I have to be in the office, or I'll work from my home office, or I have something happening. I just, always have something going on. So I spend a lot of time on Thursdays prepping, and then I call Robert from my Zoom, my webcam, and I'm like, hey, can you see? I don't know if I should move the it doesn't take very much to look presentable, and I guess other times.
Yeah.
Did my video freeze? I feel like it froze.
It did.
Yeah.
I don't want to say anything. I was letting you go with your thing.
No, I knew it froze, and I kept talking because I was like, what? It's awkward if I stop, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, no, okay, well, I'll show. So, I have a box. I have my whiteboards with all my client stuff on one end. And then I have my sticky note side with all my screens up and what I'm doing. And I, strategically place it a certain way and tilt it a certain way, because nobody wants to see that box in the back. I know it's, now that I've said it's there. Now that I've said it's there. But, it's the presentation of things, whether it's small scale, like my office, I work in my office, right? Like I work, within reach, I have 5 expo markers. Like
that's just weird.
Whiteboards. I bought a pack of expo markers, but anyway, like I have all this, I work, it's a real like working functional office. But for a podcast, if I sat there in a messy looking closet, or I just moved in my messy house where stuff isn't put away and I have moving boxes, that they're going to be like, what's behind you? Is that, I see the reflection of like your stuff in the mirror. It's weird.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not just visual, it's also auditory too, because nobody wants to listen to this all day if I'm talking and the scratching and stuff. So very mindful.
There's a market for that.
Oh, actually there is.
There is. No, I'm serious.
Yeah, people making noise, and that's just weird. That's a whole other
ASMR. I don't know if you can something like that.
No, there's different sounds. So you can make vowel sounds, you can make fuzzy sounds, you can make whatever sounds, and there's a market for that.
What does fuzzy sound like? My shirt's fuzzy.
Yeah, that too. Like this stuff.
I can like hear it.
Like that stuff. People are weird. I don't know. We all have our
my fuzzy. I mean, it's there's people that like it. I think it's a relaxing thing. It's not like I don't know. It is a thing, but at the end of the day, if you don't laugh at everything, I feel like it's not legitimate if you can't laugh at it, right?
Yeah, I laugh all the time. That's another thing. So, but talking about legitimacy, I think production value has a lot to play into that. Being mindful. I mean, you're going to have to just go with what you got. Again, when you have something you care about and you want to share, and it's very genuine, people connect with that. I've seen the worst videos become viral. I've seen the weirdest sounds likable. At the end of the day, people just have to resonate and care about it. So, and I think where it comes from, focusing back on the self, is it comes from you caring about whatever it is you're trying to share. So that brings me to content. So the third component of today's show is content. This is something that we've been talking about for the last, we've had a meeting last week. Is the content we're delivering applicable? Is it relatable? Do people want to watch it? We chose to be on our personal pages today because, we're challenged with people going to our business page. So we're approaching people with a contest today. So for the contest, to announce the contest, we need you. Whoever's watching this on the replay, whether now, hopefully you're still watching this. Hopefully you're interested in learning about what entails a podcast. We're trying to drive traffic to our CEO Network business page. In order to do that, we are giving 2 $100 giveaways, and that's cash. That's either Venmo or straight up just dollar bills, to the person that goes to our business page and changes their setting from the default to follow. Or favorites, sorry. If they change their default setting to favorites, and they get 3 of their friends to do the same, go to our CEO Network here on Facebook and change those, screenshot those 4 screenshots. So not only yours, but your 3 friends, and you'll be entered in to win one of those $200 prizes. How does that sound, Kelsey? How does that sound?
Sounds pretty good. I mean, I'll do it and I'll get 3 of my friends to do it. Yeah.
But they have to change it to favorite.
And we
will verify. We are good at verifying.
I'm kidding. I'm not in the contest, but that's all you have to do. It's very simple. There's people that tag me in things on Instagram all the time. And it's like, oh, you share, like, and whatever, this is the same thing. It's the same thing. I mean, it's $100. It's Christmas time. Who doesn't want $100? I mean,
Yeah.
literally, it's very easy. If you're looking for a good hourly job, this will take care of less than an hour of it.
Correct. And Violet's an accountant, so she will double check to make sure that all the appropriate check boxes are checked and marked, and she's good about that. I'll probably get flack about that later. But so content again, it drives what you're trying to do. I think going back to that same idea, if you care about what you're trying to deliver, if you care about what you're sharing, people will care too, whether it's today or 10 months from now. There are so many stories on YouTube about YouTubers who their very first posts, posts they did years ago, 2, 3 years ago, that bring in the most revenue because they've been around the longest and they've made a name for themselves. So it's the older videos that sometimes generate the more income for the podcast if you're driven towards that. But again, I think the premise of what you're trying to deliver, what you're trying to bring, has to come from a genuine source. Otherwise, nobody cares about it. I mean, is there anything you listen to that you don't care about, Kels?
That I listen to?
I mean,
that I don't care about?
Besides your boss? Wait a minute, you don't have a boss.
I mean, that would be my dad. That would be.
He has a lot of things that he says that you probably don't care about.
No, I listen.
Okay, but a regular boss, not your dad boss.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, I don't know. I try to listen to everybody, to be honest. Like, I don't know, comes with, I guess, who I am. But I mean, as far as like actual content things, there's this one, I don't know why, but it gets shared from a mutual friend, and it's these 3 dudes, and they think they're funny, and their videos are way too long, and it's just not engaging and content that they're just trying to be funny, and it's not my kind of humor. So I don't find it to be. I watch 10 seconds and I shut it off, and I'm like, great that everyone finds this funny, but I just don't. But then I'm sure if that same person, I sent them a link for the girl that does the murder makeup mystery everything, they're not going to watch it. I mean, it's the same principle, right? There's a different thing in it for everybody.
Yeah, and I was introduced to this couple, there's two guys that got on YouTube like 4 or 5 years ago, and now they have a big following. They have like typically a couple 100,000 views a show, but they're shooting each other with Cheetos.
That sounds fun.
Well, I mean, yeah. So it's not just about caring about something's consistency and message. So if your consistent message is to shoot each other with Cheetos and it's just stupid and funny all the time, you'll gain an audience somehow.
Maybe. I mean, I think there has to be an aspect of different. There has to be something different about your videos too. You can't just post the same video and it's funny for a while, and maybe the whole world hasn't seen it, so you keep getting views. But I think it would be important to actually have, something that changes, and, maybe it's relatable, maybe it's not relatable, but you can't, if you're just shooting Cheetos, you can have that on there, and maybe it drives your audience. But I don't know. For me, the repetitiveness, everyone's going to hate me for this. I don't like Will Ferrell, because I think he's the same character in every single thing he does. I don't like him. I think that it's so repetitive to watch him. And it's funny the first time I heard it, but after like the 6th Will Ferrell character that's the same thing, I just can't. I'm just bored by it.
Yeah.
So, but for some people, they like it.
So, I think we're just over an hour, Miss Rogness. And,
we are, and I still have 30%. 30. Hold on. 34% battery. We started with 71. We're about halfway there.
Yes. So I think it's about time we wrap up. I did want to hit upon those 3 things. So understanding your platform.
I have a question. Remember when I told you that I wanted to know what other people like to see as far as content? So on that same thing. I want people to comment on here and say, what content do you want to see? Maybe it relates to our platform, maybe it doesn't, because sometimes we make other videos like jelly beans. But
I miss the jelly bean too.
the jelly bean thing was fun. I don't think we can do that again. We need to find new content. But I mean, I don't know if everyone else liked it, but it was fun. I had fun doing it, and that was part of it. But I kind of want to know from the people watching what they want to see, or what they would like to see, or what would make them watch or be interested to watch.
I think I would watch us doing our colon cleanse together.
No, thank you.
We still got that appointment to set up with
yeah, no, I mean, I said I'd do it. I'm really interested in doing that. With anyone else in the room besides the person who has to run the machine, I don't think that.
You don't want to hold hands while we do colon cleansing? I mean, we've eaten weird crap before. We've eaten jelly beans.
Not with our butts out.
I get a towel. She said we get a little blanket towel thing.
No.
But it's stuff like that does particular interest, I guess, interest people. But yeah, if you do have any,
I don't know if anyone wants to watch I don't want anyone to watch my colon cleanse.
Would be interesting. But yeah, if there's any suggestions on what you would want on the show, what we're driven to do is to highlight people, to highlight their experiences, and basically tell their stories. A lot of this whole thing, RCO Network, is based off of my journey of learning and sharing what I've learned, taking time to share my experiences, and hopefully somebody out there learns from them and doesn't make those mistakes, or makes them better, a better outcome for themselves. The whole idea of RCO Network has been providing a platform that gives you as a small business and entrepreneur a way to kind of reach out people, a way to just practice, or to do something that you wouldn't normally do out there in your normal business life. We want to provide that platform, a safe place to be expressive and to share ideas, and have us help you with those ideas. Because I think at the end, and this is probably between you and I too, Kelsey, is we've helped each other get to this point, and I don't see an end. I just continue to see it growing. We continue to have more transactions together. There's just a more people coming in that I'm able to kind of send over your way. And it's just really nice when I'm able to call somebody and then say, hey, Kelsey, they're going to be following up with you today,
Right.
and it seems like we're growing together. And that's the core of what we're trying to do with our RCO Network.
Yeah. I mean, I think that at the end of the day is the goal, whether it's with me or the people that we bring on the show, because the goal is everybody to grow. I mean, I think that the main takeaway from that, I mean, sure, like, okay, well, how do you get all these people to grow, right? There's 5 people in the same field, but there's different people who get along with different people in a business aspect who get along, different personalities. And at the end of the day, placing those people with the right people is, I feel like, I mean, that's my goal when doing mortgage loans. I want people to feel connected or have a good experience because they like what I provide and what I bring to the table and me as a person.
Yeah. And an ode to you. The reason why I've done business with you for so long is because we mirror each other as far as our response time. I'll be up late at 10 o'clock at night. Hey, I need a prequal. And you're right at it. You're like, send it to me maybe 15, 20 minutes later. And we have the same work ethic. And when you resonate with people, you just want to stay with them. We want them close, and so that's an ode to you. And that's the thing I appreciate most about how we work together. So thank you.
Yeah.
Ms. Rogness.
No, I mean, I think it's, I think that we help each other out with things, and it's nice to be able to call and say, hey, what, I need some information on this, whatever it is. It's nice to, I guess, have that relationship close with somebody, especially in a working capacity.
And that's what we want to do here. So it's not just you and I with home loans and getting people houses, but it's also having a place where you can come and literally sit here. We can chat, talk about expensive lighting, what I've learned, what not to buy. By the way, I bought a lot of crap that I really don't need. Violet, I hope you're not listening. I bought a lot of stuff that I really don't need, or at least that I outgrew. And I know that Kelsey would sit down and talk to him about the things you've learned in your own production, because you do audio more than I do. And so there's just so many things that we're able to share and grow from with one another. So with that said, today's the end of the show.
Today's the end of the show.
Where we're right now.
Right.
And so if you have any comments or questions, please go ahead and type them in. If you learned anything, please kind of share that. But again, that contest, I need four favorites on our CEO network.
You and 3 friends. So
you and 3 friends. And
right.
Once you get that, go ahead and DM us with those screenshots. We'll contact you to verify. We'll look it up, and then if you're selected, you'll win $100. What's an easier way to do that?
Super easy. I mean, I also think just in general, if you know someone or if you wanted to be on the show, to highlight your business or anything really, right? I mean, I guess not anything, but.
Well, I mean, the premise is, because we've talked about this too, the premise is small business and entrepreneurs. But if there are people out there that have inspirational stories, everybody has a journey. Everybody's experienced some sort of challenge in their life. And if that resonates with us, we'll have you on the show to share that with. I think it's interesting, the things that people go through and the things they learn. And that's applicable anywhere in life and hopefully in business too.
Right.
So.
And tell me what content you want to see.
Yes. Yeah, there's a lot of things. I hope you wrote it all down.
You're bringing notes to this Zoom meeting.
Yes.
And this concludes today's Zoom meeting.
This concludes today's Zoom meeting. Thank you, Ms. Rogness, for coming on to today's show. It's been a pleasure having you. Any last words before we head out?
Not that I know of. Make sure to like, follow, share, heart, emoji, all of the stuff, because we love loves.
We love the loves. And so that means we're out. So thank you, everybody. And we'll see you next Thursday at 5:00, maybe. We got an interesting guest from here at Workuity. He's into marketing and hopefully be sharing what he learns in his marketing endeavors. So we'll see you guys soon.
Bye.